Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 82 of B-Road Ballers. As many of you will know, I had some issues with my controller dying on the PS3. I've picked up a temporary one, but unfortunately it's not an official PlayStation controller, and as such, the Gran Turismo videos, at least this week, will probably look a little bit clunky, as you can probably tell from the way I'm driving the car in this video. The controller does the job for now, but it's got no finesse. So I'll solve that as soon as possible, but at least for now, we're back on track. Now in this particular episode we're featuring the more normal version, if you will, the more mainstream version certainly, of a car which has some very interesting and very exciting, I would say, variations on the game. Not just the new Beetle, but the Beetle in general on Gran Turismo has some interesting options. You've got the non-premium original Beetle, which is really a pure classic collector's piece. Then you've got the newer, but still classic, premium Beetle, which is very quick for its power. You've got the Beetle RSI, which is one of my personal favourite hot hatches, and ultra rare. In fact, it's one of the rarest modern hot hatches. And then you've got the Cup Car, which is also, in its own way, a really cool version of the Beetle. This particular version, though, you don't see used much. In fact, I can't recall ever seeing anyone use this car online. I'm sure that some people have. Some people probably even love the car, but I've just never seen it. And it's understandable why. It's in that same kind of category as stuff like the Peugeot 307 or the Renault Megane, the non-sport version. They're just not cars that people gravitate towards because A, they're not the hot version, and if you've got the hot version available, which we do, the RSI, why would you buy this one? And then secondly, it's just the kind of car which you can actually see in the dealership, but not actually see in the dealership. And what I mean by that is, there are some cars that you can look at, but not really see. You just pass over them, you see them every time, and you don't really take much note of them, of how good they may potentially be, etc. So is that the case with this car, or is it actually a hidden gem? Something of a sleeper, even? Well, consider what you get. The price tag, straight off the bat, is pretty good. It's a lot cheaper than the RSI, as you'd hope it would be. It costs just under 26 grand, that's a pretty good start. It's got a decent size engine, a 2-litre turbo. It is front-wheel drive, whereas of course the RSI is all-wheel drive. And although I personally prefer all-wheel drive of the two, front-wheel drive does have its advantages. Front-wheel drive cars can typically be thrown through corners with much more ferocity than an all-wheel drive car can, and also they tend to be lighter because there are quite simply less mechanical components involved in having drive to the front wheels rather than all four. Likewise, when compared to rear-wheel drive. Now, this car's engine puts out some pretty good numbers. 354 horsepower is not bad, 302 foot-pounds of torque is even better, and thanks to that front-wheel drive and the fact that although it's a reasonably, not large car, but a decent-sized car, it's not actually that substantial a car. It's basically a big empty space, kind of like a van, so it doesn't actually weigh that much, barely over 1,000 kilos in fact, and as such the horsepower per tonne, for what it is pretty good, 343. Even the PP level, which you could initially think is too high, at 492, actually isn't ridiculously high. It may well be a little bit too high technically, it should be more around, say, 480, maybe 485, but as it is, it can definitely compete at that level. Now, it would compete even better at, say, 475 or even 450, but I have to say, even on a lower quality, much lower quality controller, I could still feel just how good this car is. The handling is very responsive, possibly even better, I would say, than the RSI version, due to the manoeuvrability of the front-wheel drive chassis, and although it's obviously not as quick as that car in a straight line, it's not slow either. The acceleration is actually very good for a car of its type. The top-end performance isn't incredible, but it's certainly not slow, fast enough for most tracks, I would say, and as a sleeper car, there is some definite ability and appeal here. If you're the kind of person who wants a car which basically no one will view as a threat, I don't think anyone would view any Volkswagen Beetle as a threat if they see it in a lobby. Even if you see the RSI, people don't really take it seriously. That's kind of the whole point. with this car even more so. People don't care about the Beetle. It's not a car that people are worried about. It's not a car that's known for being really good. And as such, you can potentially surprise some people with this vehicle, because I would say it's pretty good. Now, it's not mind-blowing. It won't necessarily beat everything else, of course, in the hot hatch class, and even as far as sleepers go. I wouldn't necessarily put it in, for instance, a top 5, maybe not even in a top 10, but I would say it is a good choice of sleeper car, and definitely one which sleeper car fans should bear in mind. But that's it overall for this particular pick. I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.